Hello YouTube, welcome to today's video. I just reacted to the Philaris video, so if you haven't seen that one, go ahead and check it out. And I very recently saw that Virkayu did this video called The Secret to Really Climbing with Jungle and Winning More. It's not ganking. And there will be a bunch of questions and a bunch of different plays that will be explained, and then I'll try and explain them myself before and see if Virkayu will explain the same thing, and I'll give my answers to some of the questions that will be asked throughout this video. So let's just jump into it.
Before we do that though, can you answer this simple question? What is the most critical principle for early game jungling?
So the question is, what is the most critical principle of early game jungling? So that would be pathing, and it would be ganking. So you would basically have to understand how would you be pathing. So which type of clear would you do? Would you do 3 camp, 5 camp, 6 camp? Would you invade? On top of that, you would need to know where do you want to start and what lane to play for, and how would you want to gank those different lanes.
Early game jungling. And I hope most of you were thinking deeply about that and came to the answer jungle tracking. I'm going to show you how this will 100% affect the tips in
Jungle tracking, I mean, yes, also part of it, but that will be after level 1. So then you actually see where the enemy jungler starts. Before you even get into the game, before you start your first buff, you should already have a plan on what do you want to do in terms of clear. And then at level 1, you'll see who leashes in order to jungle track. So
in this video, and how it affects low to mid elo junglers, and yes, even diamond junglers as well, and show you how to fix this permanently with challenger tips. I have put my live jungle companion guide on Zerda.gg and tailored it to over 30 junglers. That's almost every single jungler. This includes my patented ganking tier list, my game plan maker, what jungle routes you should go for your champion. It tells you what I would do in any given scenario in the early, mid, and late game. All through a dynamic pop-out on your screen where you can control whatever you want to see or don't see, including all of Zerda. Nice. Along with your champion, 1,000 players you want to be. And also to get your goal clear, we know the enemy Zac in the middle of his first clear. We know the enemy Zac has got unleashed here and is going to the top side. And we're going to see what happens in this early game, you know, like this 3-minute to 12-minute, 14-minute zone where we fail to materialize a huge lead such that we can end the game, you know, in 30 minutes because we are so far ahead of everyone else. Instead, this game goes to 54 minutes and we have to rely on our Fiddlesticks team fighting. I'm just watching this because it's kind of funny. You know, in order to actually win the game. Lucian goes in, he flashes, he doesn't need to. And, oh, hello, Zac. Zac shows up and kills.
I mean, a bit unfortunate.
So, as soon as you're the fiddle, obviously this is about, I don't know, I don't say 20 seconds, but at least 10 to 15 seconds slower than what I would expect most people to get at this stage. We are going for the crab. As soon as you see Zac here with double buffs, you click, you FK, you look, and what else do? You press tab. We need to activate this tracking in order to materialize the advantage we're talking about. So Zac shows up here with 16 CS. I would assume at this point that the dude did a 3 camper and did maybe the scuttle crab. However, watch this. He leaves the...
Well, what you would do is you would click on Zac, and up here you would see the timer of the buffs, right? And then you would see how long does he have one buff and how long does he have the other one. I mean, this you should already have done level 1, but in case you forgot or didn't get to do it, then you'll have a second chance now that he is being spotted. And then he's level 3, you see that he's done 16 camps, you see he has double buff. That means that he has done 4 jungle camps, and
mid lane and goes.
Then depending on which timer has more time on it, you then know, did you start on blue or did you start on red?
Why would a Zac do that unless there was an RNG scuttle for us to secure? Immediately we need to recognize that double buff 16 CS Zac has done a 4 camp clear. 99.99%, that means there's 2 camps available somewhere, and I would predict it be on the bottom side here, so we could investigate with this Scry's Bloom and see the Krugs, and
you should actually not even do it with the Bloom. You would basically just take a look at who leashes the Zac, like which lane is showing in lane at 130, and then who shows in lane at like 140. Whoever is showing here did not leash. Whoever showed at this time did leash. So leash. And no leash. Because people don't fake leash. So
we can investigate by leaving an effigy.
And the reason why you wouldn't use the Bloom is because if you use the Bloom, this is a tip that I learned a few years ago. If you use the Scry's Bloom, the vision plant, and the enemy team doesn't know where you are revealing where you are. So if the enemy team already knows where you are, if you already showed yourself on a ward or on a gank, then you're completely fine to use the vision plant to remove vision and get more vision yourself. But if the enemy team doesn't know where you are and you haven't shown anywhere in the map, don't take the vision plant, because that's just going to showcase, oh, someone just used the vision plant. And if you're the only one on the team who isn't showing on the map, then you can quickly tell, okay, it's the jungler that just used this plant, he's right here. So you shouldn't have to do that. So you can just take the Raptors here for free after the Scuttle Crab and then base.
On his Raptors, this would allow us to either straight up counter jungle the whole quadrant and know that we have time to get back to this, and that a silver jungler is not going to be counter jungling that in kind. We could also then use that counter jungling for a beautiful angle of approach on the bottom lane that may or may not be gankable. Now, if it's pushed up and you've got good CC, yankable. If it's like this, I'm not sure I want to dive with silver laners or even platinum laners.
Again, we have Sona Ezreal. There's no CC. Sure, Physics has a fear and a silence, but that's not really enough. There's no tanky members to potentially tower dive, so we don't have like an Alistar or a Thresh or anything like that. No way we are tower diving on this HP. In order for us to tower dive, they would have to be like this HP. Then we would go on tower dive. But again, as I said, take the Raptors and then base, go back towards the top side because that's where the Physics started. Take the Crux, power farm, get level 6, potentially rush the dragon, potentially tower dive, bot lane, or potentially look for plane mid lane, and then Drake after, if it succeeds.
But right here is missed counter jungling opportunity 1 through absolutely basic tracking. And yes, it is random that a Zac would do a 4 camper gank mid lane, go up to the top crab. We press tab, we see 20 CS, so we know he did that top crab as well. More than likely, these camps were available for us to snack. Now he's going to push this out.
Now that the Zac showed, you could take Raptors and then take the Crux after.
We've gone back to base and we are sprinting to the top lane. This already is one failure of an advantage we could have gained, because +4 for me, +4 for me, -8 for him, and I don't think he's going to think that you would have the goal to do that, which means your second Krug camp will be...
Here he should defend top lane, unless if they allow he has TP and is willing to use it on top lane.
Yeah, but look at this. We're sitting and waiting on a Krug camp when this wave is crashing with cannon power. So when you have here that's already 1 dead, 7 minions, including a cannon, with a top laner who doesn't have teleport available, I'm holding this and I'm absorbing this. And that is the second thing, right? Yep. You have to ensure there is a farming jungle. Actually, it doesn't even matter what the hell jungler you are. If you didn't counter jungle this and he managed to get off 2 ganks for 2 kills, you have to say, look, that's okay, guys. I'm absorbing experience. I will be fed. I will be able to win team fights at level 9, 10 because everyone else is going to be level 7, 8. That's what you're looking for, right? That is achieved through strategic, excellent tracking counter jungling, through holding waves that you can absorb into yourself at the expense of your top laner. But hey, she shouldn't have died. But you don't want to be sitting and waiting for a Krug camp to spawn. That is a waste of time. And if you're sitting and waiting for your camps 5-10 seconds, what are you doing with your time? Or your life for that matter. I mean, if you're waiting 10 seconds all the time for different camps, waste of time. You could always be filling the time with something significantly more girthy, in Fiddlesticks's case, sucky face. Now, once you see this, gank 16, gank 20, gank push, the last thing you want to do is press tab as soon as he leaves vision, right? And if you see 23 CS from that vision, okay, I know dude did a 4 cam, took crab, went top side, 99.9%, then the dude's gonna go to the bottom side. So please ping your bottom lane. Say, listen, my lovely, beautiful friends in the bottom lane, there's a jungler coming, it's a Zac, it could be tremendously painful for you. I am a farming jungler, I want to exist and get a lead. I cannot do so if you are dying to.
One thing to add to this, what Virkayu is saying is definitely correct. Spam ping, use 5 pings. If your bot lane is not reacting, then type it. Type Zac bot lane or jungle bot or care bot, anything like that. Don't just ping once or twice. I see a lot of people doing it and say, oh, but I did ping, I did tell them. No, you have to spam ping. You have to literally force them to listen.
To him. So we know the last time we saw Zac, we saw 23 CS. We're doing this. I would like to see a bit more proactive play in terms of the counter jungling and holding waves. Zac shows up, into the cage event horizon. That's a dead zoner. We see him here, 27 CS. That means what, ladies and gentlemen? He took one of these camps. Now, I'll be honest with you. I would assume at this stage that he did the Krugs because it makes sense to do that. And then kind of float into here to hit this plant to see the fiddle, what he's doing. And then to look mid lane or fall back to Raptors and then go to the top side. You follow? That's what I would do. That's what most of us would do. And that's what high elo junglers do. However, because, you know, they elo, and honestly this happens in Platinum and everything as well, so don't worry about that. He went for the Raptors. Now he's going to fall back to the Krugs, but we don't know this. This is not what we know. What we know is that he took one camp on the bottom side. I anticipated it's Krugs, but I have no idea. So I would like to see a bit more of a heads up play from the fiddle here saying, listen, I recognize that. Can I probe this scenario? Now, if you're against a Vi, a Shyvana, even a Mundo, things like that, they could very easily take one camp, gank this, and think, haha, I have Prio, and they'll just start soloing the dragon because they know they can get away with it. Hit the plant, see if there's vision around this area, see if they're doing it, and then decide, can I gank this first or should I go back to base? Because we didn't do any of the fundamentals I've been speaking about in this video.
Yes, you could use the Bloom plant again because you'd like some vision on if the enemy team is on the Drake. The issue is that your support is dead. You're not level 6 as the Fiddlestick, so the chance of you being able to contest the Drake is very, very low. On top of that, you don't have prio on your AD carry, so 9 out of 10 times, even if you get the information, it doesn't really matter. You will just have to give up the Drake if the enemy team is on it. The only one time where you would be able to contest it is if the enemy jungler is really low on HP or something and you can just kill him with one combo, but yeah, even then, Sona has heal in her kit, Zac has a bit of healing in his kit, he can smite the Drake, etc, etc, he has passive, stuff like that.
In the intro, we are behind. Already we're behind, but not behind the enemy, not behind any sort of random metric. We're behind where we should be. The Zac once more now shows up with 31, so I know that the guy ganked bottom lane with one camp taken from this side, went back to the bottom lane, took the other one, and then ganked mid lane. Additionally, just to rewind a little bit, you see the Zac gank here. This is just an overcommit flash. We're never going to help this. As soon as you move, right, we're using the outside in rule here. We are looking to take this scuttle because this is an RNG scuttle. It is valuable to me, to us, to all junglers everywhere. You're going to see the Zac go for this gank. You see this all in here. We should already be priming for this by our pathing, but we're not. Like, at this point, he's dead. Don't even bother showing, okay? Don't even bother showing at this stage. The last thing you want to do is flash in here for no particular reason. Once the guy goes in here, take this crab, moving up, and snack this grump. Drag it up and take it away. Why? Because the Zac's going to push with the Aurelia most likely and then go up to his wolves. Why? Because we saw him. One camp back, another camp back, mid lane. Maybe he tries for the scuttle and goes, it's gone already. Maybe...
I'll say yes, you can take the top scuttle. Going for the grump seems really risky because you're playing a champion that doesn't have an escape. And then the only escape you would have would be the blast cone, which would be right down here. And if that one is up, well then yeah, you can get out. But if that one is not up, you most likely will be seeing the Zac at some point, and then because you don't have top lane prio, then yeah, it's risky. So taking scuttle is fine. I don't think you should take grump.
Counter gank this to be present for this, and you'd be level 6.
And you should just defend mid lane anyway after.
You have to flex your decision making.
You should just defend mid lane after the scuttle crab anyway, because in terms of experience, yes, you'll get ahead by taking the grump, but in terms of gold, Zac will get a plating most likely with Aurelia.
Scenario: cut, rotate, snack, plus 8 for me, plus 8 for me. That's minus 16 for the Zac possibly, as well as holding waves. And obviously, should he go to the top lane here, you can of course get involved, right? You have your ult, 2v2 assess, do I need to do it, do I not, can I do it, can I not? That's the next step, obviously, knowing your champion and your matchups. But the whole point of having a golden experience lead is first and foremost, I'm denying the enemy jungler, I'm gating myself, and I'm still affecting lanes. And even so, right, they still push here a little bit. You still could have rotated for this, not used your flash and go, and then still taken this. And then because you would have taken this looking mid lane, you see the Mordekaiser kills the Lowy again. We can just go hold top lane again. Even more experience for us to simply absorb and hold and deny a plate as well. And then you can fall back to the Krugs instead of waiting for the Krugs to spawn again. You need to have that opportunistic counter jungling through advanced tracking. You need to know how to keep tracking CS continuously so you can keep snacking away experience and holding waves when you know where the enemy jungler is. And this is crucial if you don't want to fight them specifically, but you should still be able to get a 2-level lead. Now we're going to do this, of course. Saki. We finally hit level 6. Now we don't have our flash. I do recommend the Hex Flash on Fiddlesticks though for advanced pathing. But obviously what you have to track while you're doing that here, F keys while you're farming. Look, no mana, walking away. Low HP, low mana, walking away a little bit. Is this something we can gank now? No. But if we were playing properly, we could have...
The Hex Flash and Fiddlesticks, I have no clue. I don't play Fiddlesticks anymore myself. I just play Cartis, which does the same thing. So I don't know if it's an actual thing or not. So
have used our ultimate either
someone in comment section can let me know.
Or bottom lane a little bit sooner. Because we're a bit experienced starved, we should see that Lux is most likely going back to base, Vega's going back to base. We now can just do the wolves, making sure your sequencing is on par with what the map is dictating. When it's time to rotate, get a gank off, use your level 6 spike, we do so. And now we're gonna go mid lane here, and this is a downside of Fiddle. We don't have the scanner, so you must have control wards in your pocket. Obviously we've got 838 here in the bank. We're looking to use our ultimate, but we're wasting so much time on non-gankable scenarios. If we just straight up went into these, hit this point to see what's up, and then moved with good pathing, we could have stuck to the wall here using the Vision Tricks video, come behind the Aurelia, and now we can auto, because she's always going to go in on the Lucian. Obviously she, you know, does, and we go in anyway, so we're going to get the play off. It's not the best play to get off, you know, when we could have done 2 camps and then done it anyway, but that's the other example, right? That's the point of this whole video, is that yes, the gank was great, but you could have done the gank off after doing your full sequence. So that's plus 8 CS, and that we don't have to fall back to now. We can instead use the fact that we've killed the Aurelia, move into the jungle, place an effigy, and maybe snack some wards. And guess what? You'd run into the Zac here. And if you saw the clip from the intro, and if you want more details about that, the Olaf was level 5 versus a level 3 Lee Sin. He was level 7 to a level 5 Lee Sin. And he just ran into his jungle and took stuff. Killed him and took stuff. And
the reason why you couldn't really go in after invade Zac bot side is because you don't have bot lane prior, because they decided to recall. So enemy bot lane recall first, then your bot lane decides to recall, meaning enemy bot lane is going to be back onto the lane faster than your bot lane is. Therefore you can't really look for a bot lane play despite having mid lane prior, because it's still potentially going to be a 2v3 in the enemy team's favor.
And that's the kind of lead you want. When you do that, the enemy jungler remains useless and just can't do anything, a complete impotent jungler, and then you can of course gank lanes and snowball that advantage because he cannot counter gank you, and that's the kind of lead we're looking for here. And when you do that, instead of having a certain spike at 20 minutes, you have that spike at 15 minutes and no one is remotely close, and that's when you get you huge leads. And then we leave base again, our ult is up, we're gonna go in, the Mordekaiser, you know, takes the Lawi to Brazil. We're just hovering around with the ultimate, we're waiting for the sucky suck, and we'll get that going. And here again, what is the biggest thing that we note while this was ongoing? Zac kills a tower. Zac summoned a herald. So where is Zac?
He's on bot side and he should invade top side camps for free. But the thing that is not really being mentioned in this video, I mean, yeah, we are focused a lot on jungle tracking, and I understand why, because it is important. But the next most important thing is then to play for objectives, set up for objectives, because they did get buffed and they are basically the reason why you win most of the games. Because you would generally be winning on the map when you're getting the objectives, and they will help you win even more. And they also set you up for potential late game scaling and the possibility of ending the game faster. And so far we can see Zac already got the Herald. Now Zac has a free Drake right now, so yeah, we will get 2 jungle camps on top side, but they will get a Drake and they already got the Rift Herald, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Somewhere in this vicinity. What is available to him because you show top lane? So we're missing out on a Herald because we can't afford to fight it earlier. We're missing out on the Dragon because we didn't take the Herald and then swap to the Dragon. But if that does happen to us, it's not the end of the game. We now know Zac is bottom lane, Mordekaiser is dead, Aurelia is mid lane, 2 people are bottom lane, 3 people are bottom lane. Shove, take some plates, take his Grump, take his Wolves, go gank mid lane again. This is low, maybe we can do something. We have the sucky suck, we can try, okay? We have an RNG Scuttle spawning on the top side. We can loop back to the Krugs and the Raptors that will respawn. The red will respawn. So we'll lose a Herald.
I mean, the game is not lost because you lose the first 2 objectives, but it means that the enemy team has won the early game and is now pretty much set up for being able to reach late game. And then we have to take a look at team comps, so then we'll have to take a look at Mordekaiser and Ilaoi, pretty much the same thing. They generally don't really team fight all that much, because Ilaoi would just like to split push, and Mordekaiser will just pick one person out of the team fight, so it's not really a team fight anymore. Zac against Fiddlesticks, both engaged champions. Fiddlesticks is just a heavier AP version, while Zac is more a tanky version. Aurelia versus Lucian. Well, Lucian does have a CS lead and he does scale okay, but same thing goes for Aurelia when she gets many items. Veigar versus Ezreal. Well, definitely Veigar scales better than Ezreal, because Veigar is just naturally gonna get more and more AP, whereas Ezreal is just pure poke. Same thing goes for Lux. Lux is quite strong if she can just one-shot or poke really heavily, compared to Sona, because Sona won't be able to heal someone if Veigar just does a full combo on one-shots, or if Lux is strong enough that she can just one combo and one-shot, right?
We'll lose an Ocean Dragon,
so,
but we'll get 2 whole quadrants, and still have the opportunity to sequence and defend this quadrant, okay? So all of our experience, and instead we fall back to the Krugs. So I want you to mathematically add up all the different things we've lost in this game so far that we could be using to just destroy everybody else. Now we're just trailing. The whole time we're trailing, we go back to base after full sequence, we go gank the Mordekaiser, who's abusing, I don't know what he's doing, he's an idiot. You know, we get the free kill, that's great, but you look at the map, it feels like we're stuck in the zone, and there was no reason for us to be stuck in the zone, and that causes the gold deficit to exist. Even if it doesn't exist and you have a small gold lead, it's not on you, right? You're coin flipping your laser. Now we're just waiting for Krugs again. And then we sequence again, and we just do fiddle things, right? We sit here, the relay dives the Lucian, we get another kill just about. We can now suck this up to heal. There we go, that's nice. Okay, very good. And now we're at 17.5 minutes, and you can see the enemy team is just pushing down towers. They've taken 2 here, they're pushing down this one, they're pushing down this one. Yeah, we can ult them, they got it. Yeah, we can ult them and kill them. But look at the power we have. Level 11 versus level 11 Maud versus Lux, who's also doing quite well. Well, actually not really, but she exists. That was so easy. We're 6-0-0. You can feel good about yourself. You're going to come into coaching and Discord and say, I'm 6-0-0. Why do I have a deficit? Why is my game going to 50 minutes, 35 minutes, 45 minutes? Why do I always have to rely on teamfights as fiddle? Well, if you were level 11 instead of at 17, 18 minutes, and you were level 11 a couple minutes earlier, and had that gold lead a couple minutes earlier, all of a sudden, you're the one knocking on all their turrets' doors. You're the one in their jungle sucking everything and trapping and assassinating anyone who face checks. And you never have to get to the teamfighting stage because you are the teamfighting god and you reached your apex way sooner than anybody else. And now if you're struggling to understand...
So about the video, I would say if we're strictly focusing on jungle tracking and counter jungling, it is a solid video. But there are more things on top of that. Now this depends on what elo you are playing in. I would say that if you are anywhere from like iron to plat, maybe even diamond, this video will definitely not be bad to follow, or generally this channel, like Virkayu's channel, is not a bad thing to learn from and pretty much follow in terms of your own games. But as soon as you go for higher elo, there are simply more concepts you need to take in, because otherwise you will do stuff like this and then you will still get countered or still not get the advantage and still end up losing. So not a bad video overall for jungle tracking and counter jungling, but there has to be a little bit more things explained, and it has to be a little bit more advanced and detailed in order for it to be useful for even higher elo players. But yeah, not a bad video. If you want to see more videos from Virkayu, he has a ton of videos on his YouTube channel. I'll leave his channel down below. And if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like. If you have any questions regarding either this video or my commentary over the video, then leave it in the comment section down below, or go to Virkayu's video and leave it in his comment section. I'm sure he will respond to it. And yeah, subscribe to not miss out on future videos. And then I just hope to see you guys in my next video. See you guys.